And welcome back to the Millstone Family Restaurant. It's our From the Bench podcast here on KDSJ-TV on YouTube and on Facebook Live. I'm your host, Claysen Davis, former Black Hills State University Yellowjacket, certified talker, and also the producer of KDSJ-TV as well. As a lot going on with KDSJ Sports today, we got our From the Bench podcast here this afternoon. We got college football on the radio waves on 980 AM and 103.5 FM as the Yellowjacket football team debuts their 2025 season versus University of Sioux Falls today. And also tomorrow, we're going to be driving all the way over to East River, where the Spearfish Spartans are taking on the T-Area Titans to kick off the Spearfish Spartan 2025 football season. But before we dive headfirst into football, we got volleyball to talk about. And help with us to help talk about volleyball, Black Hills State University new head coach Grayson DuBose, and also senior Emily Freeland joins us here with our From the Bench podcast. Guys, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I'm a volleyball guy at heart. So I'm from Nebraska.
Should be at some point.
Yeah, no, it's a great sport that doesn't get near enough recognition, in my opinion. I'm also a Nebraska guy, so Nebraska volleyball is kind of a second religion to us. So it's always been an interest for volleyball. And also Black Hills State, exciting things coming for the volleyball program here in 2025 under new leadership, and a bunch of veterans returning as well for the volleyball program. So just to start off with you, Coach DuBose, how have you gotten adjusted to Spearfish?
You know, it's a beautiful part of the country. I've never spent a lot of time in the Midwest, so this is really nice and fabulous people, right? Stuff like this to me is about people and relationships, and there's just great people. I mean, you're walking on campus, you see the president of the university walking around, you can chat with them a little bit. So it's very user-friendly for me.
And Miss Emily, how have you and the rest of the team gotten used to Coach DuBose here in the first few weeks of the –
Be careful here.
No, I have all good things to say. He's been really great so far. I think at first it was a little bit of an adjustment, but he's a really fun person to be around and a really great coach, so we're lucky to have him.
Oh, no marbles for you.
Season hasn't started yet, Coach.
Well,
Right.
got some time, yeah.
But that is awesome. Before we get any further into it, of course, he hates it when I do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Paul James here on camera number 2, helping us out with KDSJ Sports again for the 2025 season. He rebuilt our graphics package with our high school sports that was debuted on Tuesday. So you can go and rewatch the Belfouche versus Sturgis volleyball stream on KDSJ-TV. You can check out that new graphics package that Mr. James put together. So, Paul, thank you for doing that, because you're way smarter than I will ever be to do that. So, as we get into the episode, again, Coach DuBose, senior opposite hitter, Emily Freeland. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I'm kind of outside now,
We
but
moved her around. we had to repent of the opposite position.
yes.
Well, we might as well just start off with that. As far as you, Coach DuBose, what do you plan on bringing to the Yellowjackets here in 2025 and throughout your tenure here at BH that the girls really have not seen before?
I don't know I don't know, so I don't know what it was like before. I just know that what I do is what I do, and so we're going to compete a ton in practice. We're going to play a bunch. We play triples, we play doubles, we play sixes, we play fours, we play all kinds of stuff where the ball is going to cross the net a lot, because that's what volleyball looks like. And so if I could bring a crowd in, right, if I could pay enough people to come in, I'd bring them in and have them heckle, and so they can get kind of used to that environment as well. But since I can't, my budget won't allow me to do that. We're just going to go play a ton, and we get into it pretty quick. We warm up 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we're jumping in and playing.
That's awesome. And Emily, question for you. As far as this different style of coaching that you and the rest of the Yellowjackets haven't been really used to, have you guys embraced that change of more competition that's been infused here with the Yellowjacket program?
I feel like we've embraced it pretty well. Our practices are super competitive. We compete really hard every single day, I think, so it's been a lot of fun.
Now looking at the Yellowjackets, 5-21 last season, 1-13 in the RMAC. The rest of the conference don't have high hopes for you guys, as you're elected to finished 15th in the season this year. You start the season next Thursday, September 4th, versus Augustana in Chadron. So a bunch of close rivals that you don't get to play in Sioux Falls or in Spearfish. You're going to Chadron for it. But as far as getting the team ready for that first contest versus Chadron, what are your, I guess, expectations for that first game versus Chadron?
You know, we're going to go down there and compete. We're going to play 4 matches, so we'll play 1 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 1 on Saturday. And I don't know any of them, actually. I know the coach at Northern State. He's an old friend of mine, and so I know he's going to have his team ready to go. And so for us, I've always felt like if we can take care of what we do well, if we can pass, set, hit, right, and keep that ball in a box, then we're going to be fine. I don't know if I can worry about what the other side's doing, because it does get a little much, right, because you're playing 4 different teams. So, hey, let's just go do what we do well. I think we compete hard. I think we're learning how to hit some better shots than what we've done in the past, it feels like to me. Our middles are good. We have a nice group there, and we're trying some different things out. We might do a 6-2. We might do a 5-1. I haven't made up my mind yet, and we're probably a work in progress here on that end. So who we are now is not who we're going to be by the end, which is a classic coaching colloquialism.
Mm-hmm. And, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong on this, your 26th season of coaching volleyball?
It feels like that, yeah. That sounds about right. I started coaching collegiately in 1999, took a couple-year break after Utah State and stayed in Logan for a few minutes, but yeah, it feels about right.
Well, I tried doing light to moderate stalking before this episode, and I realized that I can't do basic math either. So I'm going to go with the 26th season of coaching volleyball for Coach DuBose.
Thank you.
But thank you, or you say, wow, thanks. But 2-time Division I WAC Conference Coach of the Year at Utah State as well. So your new coach has got a bunch of experience bringing over here to the Yellowjacket program. Spent the last 3 seasons as the associate head coach at Eastern Washington, also at the Division I level in the Big Sky Conference, if I'm correct. And, Coach, what's the major differences that you've seen going from being a D1 head coach for so long to now being a head coach of a D2 program here in the RMAC?
You know, I had a coaching friend of mine, a guy named Marv Dunphy, who is kind of legendary. You should stalk him. He's worth stalking. I am not. But he said, so when I was coaching women, and then I went and coached men's volleyball for a little bit, and I asked him, I said, hey, you've done men's volleyball for years and years in the Olympics, all the levels. What's your suggestion? And he goes, really, you just go coach them. You just teach them how to pass, teach them how to set, teach them how to hit. There's not a lot of difference. Now, there's some physical differences, obviously, but he goes, other than that, it's the same. And that's always the tact I've taken. It doesn't matter where I'm coaching. I've coached club kids at 12 years old all the way up to 18, and then I've coached collegiately. And so I think at the end of the day, you go coach volleyball and you teach them how to do some stuff and try to teach them how to do it often. Good things often. That's a better ending.
Fair enough. As far as coaching at Utah State and being a 2-time Coach of the Year here in a very competitive WAC conference in your tenure, what are some of the major lessons that you learned during your time at Utah State that you plan to really teach these girls here with your first season at BH?
Yeah, there's the volleyball piece, right? You're going to go teach them that stuff, and we're going to put our thumbs and wrists together. You know, we're going to swing block. We're going to do that, those kinds of things. So aside from that, which isn't going to change, I'm old and grumpy, and I don't really change how I do stuff. But I think what I've learned from then till now is that the relationship piece matters a lot. I thought when I became a head coach, I thought, hey, everybody liked me as an assistant. I'm still the same fun guy I was before. But it turns out that people are intimidated by the head coach, and nobody really wants to talk to him. And so I learned that I have to do a better job with that. And so I've tried to foster that as I've gone. And I think that matters, right? The relationship matters. Who they are matter to me, because that's how I earn my livelihood, and I want them to know that, and I want them to feel that, and I want them to be able to trust me, so that when I say, hey, change this, hey, it's not like I'm just randomly asking them to do some stuff.
Emily, is he intimidating still?
Not as much.
Good answer.
Yeah, it's like, is this an answer that you're kind of forced to say, or?
No, he's great.
Note to self.
Yeah, practice is going to be awkward when you guys have to run more. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But as far as, I know we talked a little bit about it, but I want you to emphasize both as a player and as a coach, what are the expectations are? What's the main goal for 2025 with your first season here with the Yellowjackets?
I want to be better. right? And you picked to finish 15th, so we have nowhere to go but up, you know. And I like this group. I like how they compete. I used to make all these goals when I was young and ambitious and had all this stuff going. And then I realized it really does come down, and I know this is just super basic, but it just comes down to taking care of the next ball. So if I can win the next ball, and then I can do that multiple times, then I have a shot at winning. And if I can keep it close, I have a shot. So for me, the ultimate goal is, hey, let's just be better for longer. And then right at the end, we have chances. Give ourselves chances. So I don't have it. I used to, like I said, I used to write down all these goals, and then I realized, you know, once you don't fulfill the goal, then you got to rework all your goals, and that seems like just a lot of work for me. So
fair enough. From a player standpoint and also a senior standpoint, what's your expectations for yourself and the Yellowjackets this year?
Yeah, I think he kind of covered a lot of it, but I think, like, he asks us at the end of every single practice, like, did we get better today? And I think, like, that is our expectation, and kind of our only expectation is that every single day we're going to control the controllables and we're going to get better every single day. And if we can do that over a long period of time, like he said, then, like, that is the expectation, and those are our goals.
That's awesome. Again, as Coach DuBose and also now outside/opposite hitter,
Yes.
Emily Freeland joins us with our From the Bench podcast. Coach, you're inheriting a very experienced team, as I believe, according to my math, which is scary the way it is, one of 4 seniors returning this season. You got one with us here with the From the Bench podcast. Talk about a lot of your returners that you have with the Yellowjackets here for your first season and what all they bring to the table, again, from a coach and from a teammate standpoint.
Yeah. So we returned 2 middles in Jada and then Randy, and they're back, and they have a lot of experience in playing at different levels too. Actually, they played at Western Colorado and then transferred over here, so they've experienced the RMAC in different ways, and so it's kind of nice to have. Obviously, Emily here, and then we have Sydney, one of our setters, and then we have Ellie, one of our liberos, and so they bring a lot to the table in the sense that they've been through it, right? Like, I've asked these guys a ton, hey, what's it like to travel? And they're like, it's long. And I'm like, okay. And so, you know, what do you take on the bus? You know, what do you do this? And they've been great about making sure that we're having the right equipment when we go, you know, and the right snacks, because it's all about the snacks.
That's important.
That is
Very
important.
Very important.
Snackalicious, all that stuff. And so we got to make sure we're bringing so they've been great that way. And so they not only bring that experience, like on the court, which is really valuable, but they also bring that off the court stuff too. That's been really helpful for me as the first-time head coach here in the RMAC. So I'm grateful for that.
Again, same question for you, Emily, as far as all the returners and a lot of your classmates that you've played volleyball with here for the past 4 years at BH. What all do you want to see from them here in 2025?
I think I genuinely just want to, like, see our senior class play with so much joy. Like, I think we've been through a lot here, and I think if we can all collectively come together and enjoy the season and soak in every single moment that we get and play with a lot of passion and joy and maybe kind of pass that down to the younger class, I think that's really what I want to see for us.
And as far as building the program, again, you have 4 seniors. One of them is your returning setter from last year. You got 2 good middles and also your libero. So really from a defensive standpoint and as far as your setter, you have a lot of production returning. So as far as for the younger kids with the program, how important is it to have this many returners to learn from in their first season here at BH?
It's wonderful, right? I mean, experience is a great thing, and the only way you get it is by getting on the floor and getting it, you know. And so they've taken on kind of this mentorship role, which is kind of nice. They're good to each other, they're good for each other, right? So they go and they say, hey, you know, you got to help on this. This is what your job is, you know. Let's go do that. And then if somebody's late, right, they're texting, hey, don't be late, right? Because Grayson's going to leave, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I think there's this wonderful mentorship that's happening, and the thing I like about this group is that they're very collaborative, right? It's not like, oh man, I'm fighting for this position, I can never talk to you about anything for you to be better, because this rising tide raises all ships. And so Emily's mentored our outside hitters and said, hey, I think you should try this shot, or you should look at this. And then our setter is talking to our other setters, our middles are grabbing the other middles and saying, hey, this is how we block here at Black Hills State University. So I think it's kind of unique.
And then from a mentor standpoint with a lot of these younger players, what's your main bits and pieces of advice that you like to give to them here with their first or second season with the Yellowjackets, who might not played a lot yet so far in their college career?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to get better at being a mentor and using my voice a little bit more and speaking up. But I think like something is like that I say to them is kind of like you just get thrown into it and you sink or swim, and whether we win or lose, like we're here for each other no matter what. Like we lean on each other no matter what. And I think something like I've talked about is it's kind of a cool experience that like we are truly the only people who know exactly what each other are going through. And so like really leaning on that and leaning on each other, being there for each other through it all. But
That's awesome. And as far as especially Coach DuBose, you talk a lot about your seniors and your experienced players kind of mentoring the younger players here on the team. And it kind of brings up my next point as far as the culture for BH volleyball. And I know it's in the past this team has struggled, to just put it lightly, but safe to say, as far as your culture and what you wanted to see, was there a lot of, I guess, push and pull as far as trying to get that culture installed, or have the girls really embraced it head first? Just talk about as far as installing your culture here with the Yellowjackets.
I think when I got here, we all sat down, right? Remember that meeting? We had this meeting, and I said, what do you guys want from this experience? And they said, we want this and this and this and this. And I said, okay, so what does that look like? You're using this word accountability. I hear a lot of people say that phrase. What does that mean? Well, we want someone to be even over time, you know. And I said, okay, I can do that, right? But if you don't do what I asked, there's going to be consequences, because there's consequences. That's just how life goes, you know. And they were great. I mean, we sat down and we talked it through. And to their credit, again, they had kind of gotten together before I even got here. And they said, hey, this isn't the experience we signed up for. What do we have to do to change it? And so I think one of the things they had talked about was, hey, we're all in. No matter what the new coach is or who he is or what happens, we're all in with what they're going to do. And they are. You know, I said, hey, this is how we're going to do it. And they said, okay. And I said, hey, this is how we're going to block. And they're like, all right. And we have these great discussions. You know, I really like the questions. Hey, why? You know, you can ask me why, and it's not a bad thing. So we talk through the whys. But I thought that was really pretty unique. You know, they got together and said, hey, how are we going to create something different? And we want something different. And so they had answers when I came in and asked those questions. And it was a fun conversation. And we've since built on it.
As far as a player standpoint, and I know we probably don't have enough time today to go over all the details you guys wanted to discuss, but when you as a senior got together with the rest of the team as far as discussing about being all in, what did those conversations look like as far as how you guys wanted to change your experience here at BH?
I think like we all together as a group, like we saw our potential. Like we know we can be really great and we can go compete in the RMAC. And so we have fallen short in the past. And I think we had to have like hard conversations out of love of like, okay, we know we can be great, but we're not right now. So like what needs to change? And I think we were very open and honest with those conversations. And I think it was able to like build some trust there and like know that even on our hard days, like we're going to be there for each other, but we're also going to push each other to bring out the best in each other. And I think our culture has really changed since Coach has gotten here, which I'm very thankful for. But I think we know we can be great, and we really just want to show that to everyone else.
It's got to be pretty cool to have kids that you've never really met or talked to before in a state that, like you said, you haven't been in the Midwest really much at all. So especially coming into a new area, seeing kids that you've never talked to before, and then just having all of them collectively be, yeah, we're in, let us know what it is. That's got to be a pretty cool experience, Coach.
Yeah, it makes it a lot simpler. I've taken over programs where it wasn't quite as easy as this, you know, and so it was kind of nice. The goal ultimately is we're in the people business. Coaching's people business, right? We want to be in the business of Emily. I want to be in the business of Jada. I want to be in that business because it's a good business to be in, right? You get to be hopefully have a positive impact on these guys in a really critical moment of their development, you know, and so I think that's fun. And we try to really have a collaborative nature. We try to really be honest with each other. Hey, you can tell me exactly if I screw it up. If me as the head coach, if this is bad, tell me. And I can fix it. We can change it, you know. And I expect the same. If I say something to them, I expect the same. And we can have the discussion. And being able to have the discussion is really fun for me, you know. And hey, we're going to try this because I think it'll work this way. And if they don't agree, then they could say, hey, I don't know. Like I've had kids in the past, like Sadie Bacon, my assistant. she would say like, hey, I think we need to block this. I was the blocking coach at Eastern Washington University, and so I worked with the middles, and I said, hey, I think we need to do this, and they would say, hey, we're in it right now. We're seeing it differently than you are. Let's try this. Okay, yeah, I trust you guys. We've worked together long enough, and we've developed that trust, so it's a big deal.
That's, like I said, you really don't hear that much from a new head coach turning over a struggling program as far as just the automatic buy-in, and it's got to be pretty nice. So
it does make it a lot simpler for sure.
That is awesome. Well, again, Coach DuBose and Emily Freeland from the Black Hills State University Volleyball joining us with our From the Bench podcast. Time for everyone's favorite segment, also known as the Millstone Minutes. It's a quick rapid-fire 1-minute segment of a rapid-fire choice of questions that I will shoot towards you guys. It takes little to no thinking power. At least I don't think it does. I came up with them, so I must have stronger brain power than the rest of the people that watch this, but kidding, of course. That's not true. But again, we'll have our Millstone Minutes after this 30-second timeout as we hear from our sponsor of today's episode, the Millstone Family Restaurant.
Quality food at a fair price. That's what you expect, and that's what you'll get at the Millstone Family Restaurant in Spearfish. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or to grab a bite to eat before or after the game. Choose from daily specials, and a trip to the fresh soup and salad bar is always a hit. Plus, the Millstone can accommodate larger groups, like buses or your next meeting in their private party room. So, if it's just you and a friend or the whole team, get a great meal at a great price. The Millstone Family Restaurant in Spearfish.
And again, want to thank our sponsor for the From the Bench podcast, the Millstone Family Restaurant. I do not want to talk on the phone right now. Please call me back later. But the Millstone Family Restaurant here off Exit 12 in Spearfish, a great place to eat before or after the game. And, of course, our host of our From the Bench podcast giving us this great venue that we've been in for over a year now, Paul. We've been doing this for a while and haven't really thought about that. But our second fall with our From the Bench podcast is just over a year old. And, of course, we couldn't have done it without the Millstone Family Restaurant. Well, guys, you've had a chance to get prepared or mentally freak out about the Millstone Minutes. We'll go Coach and then Emily as far as answering questions. You'll get the same one since there's two of you. Again, if you don't answer it in a full minute, you don't win anything. I'm not going to take away your birthday, so you'll be good there. But
I might want mine taken away at this stage. I want less of them for sure. They seem to come faster and faster.
Well, what's the fun in if you don't make it, Coach is going to make you guys run there.
Oh, goodness.
I can't force that. But anyway, you guys ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay. I had my calculator out instead of my clock, so that shows how ready I am today. Okay, Millstone Minute. In 3, 2, 1. Volleyball position of choice.
Little blocker.
Outside.
Favorite food.
Oh, steak.
Waffles.
I like that. I like both of them, actually. Who's on your pregame playlist?
X. Old school punk band.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Whatever my teammates play.
Fair enough. Favorite arena you've ever played in?
The Stan Sheriff Center, University of Hawaii.
8-2 Arena.
Good answer.
Yours is better than mine. Dang it.
Talk about who's your inspiration?
My dad.
Probably my older sisters.
Alternate career path.
I was going to be a history teacher, so yeah, that was terrible.
Interior designer.
Oh. Dream vehicle.
I like Porsches.
Okay.
A Jeep truck.
Okay. Favorite movie.
Oh gosh, Schindler's List, and then Fletch. If we're going for comedy, Fletch, but Schindler's List is impactful.
Okay.
The Blind Side.
I like it. Off-day activities.
I'm not interesting. I read a lot of books, so yeah.
Could be interesting books.
Maybe like going for a hike.
Okay. And final one, road trip essentials, since snacks are so important.
I gotta have some Swedish fish and some peanut butter M&Ms.
Nerds gummy clusters.
Yes. I just
that.
recently got introduced to Nerd gummy clusters. I'm not really a nerd at all, obviously, but no, those are life-changing.
Yes,
so
for sure.
But that's the Millstone Minute and a Half, brought to you by the Millstone Family Restaurant. So
this is where we bring all our recruits. Like when we have official visits, we bring them here.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This
perfect.
restaurant.
See, it's all coming
all ties
together.
You're welcome.
Okay, get back to the episode as let's take a little detour from volleyball. I know it's kind of hard to think about not talking about volleyball here with the season about ready to start next week, but again, this is probably the last thing to bring up too right before the season's about to start. What do you guys like to do in the off season? Like, what, as far as entertainment goes, hobbies, is there anything you like to do when you're not playing or coaching volleyball?
My wife likes to go on bike adventures, and so I become a bike supporter. So I go follow her along and make sure she can get where she needs to go and doesn't pop too many
Bike
tires.
supporter, as in,
Yeah.
are you also on a bike, or are you following in the truck to make sure to pick her up?
Gear, right? Somebody has to take the gear. I'm the gear guy.
Fair enough.
Those seats are so small. I don't know how they sit on them.
Facts. I don't think I've sat on a bike since I was about sophomore year of high school, and it's probably going to stay like that. Emily, what do you like doing in the off season?
I really like being outdoors, so hiking, fishing.
She shot a bear this summer.
Really?
I did.
On purpose?
I did.
Alrighty.
Big time hunter right here.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I knew you were from, where's your hometown? I was Evanston, Wyoming. Is there any bears out there? I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, kind of in the area.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a game changer right
Bear
there.
hunter. It's on the
Yeah.
volleyball program.
Oh, goodness.
So when it goes down, you want her on your side. In
Yeah,
the
no
zombie
kidding.
apocalypse, this is the guy.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, the zombie apocalypse is coming. I am going to your house.
Yes, smart move.
Take down a bear. Can't imagine what you do to a bunch of, yeah. Is this true? I'm not a bear hunter, but the one thing I've was always told, it's like, in case a bear ever gets you stuck in a tree, don't you always try to atomic elbow drop it?
Sure.
I just heard it's better to die a man's death. You're going to get it over with, so. That is, wow.
Unless you're in that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, what's that one? Where the bear gets him. What is it?
The Revenant.
Yeah.
The Revenant.
Great book, too, by the way. So I did read that book.
See, and you said books weren't interesting.
I said I'm not interesting. Books are very interesting, but I am not.
Well, if you read interesting books, that's got to make you an interesting person.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Well, you got a good start on it, Coach.
Thank you.
As far as the entire sport of volleyball, I know we talked before we went on air about, I said that volleyball is kind of one of the main sports, college sports, that doesn't get recognized as much. And it wasn't until recently you feel like you see an uptick in viewership in college volleyball, not just at the D1 level, but also just D2 wise. You see a bunch of good volleyball players get rolled through D2, end up some compete in the Olympics. Others, I mean, now there's a few pro leagues that are trying to get started with volleyball as well. Where do you guys see the growth of the sport of volleyball here as it starts to get more viewership, and where do you see that going in the future?
I remember when I first started coaching, I was coaching club, and you could have a club tournament, only need 2 courts for an 18s and a 16s level. And now you go into these venues, 60 courts going. It's crazy. So it's grown a ton. Kids start playing younger. They're better athletes coming out of it now. I mean, we've got some really great athletes that play volleyball in this country. It's really amazing to watch. Jordan Larson just finishing up her career, but I mean, for Olympics, that's amazing. I mean, to be able to last that long, her body hold up that long, and I mean, it's pretty incredible. And now she's morphed that into this ownership in the pro leagues, and it's just really amazing to watch. But there's a lot of really great stuff that's happening in our country with regards to volleyball. Its viewership is up, attendance is up. It's behind men's basketball and football. It's probably the #1 attended sport, top to bottom, throughout the country.
And again, I could even remember going back as far as 5 years ago, and unless I just lived under a rock, I can't remember a single pro league ever being mentioned with volleyball. Everyone goes throughout their career, and then you shoot for the Olympics or you go to coaching. And now it's just seeing these pro leagues get started, and hopefully they can stay going as well, as far as
That's the trick.
yeah, that's the big trick. But just having another opportunity for players when they do graduate to have another chance to keep playing, other than I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but instead of playing like at a club or a UCLA, like do it competitively at a high level.
For sure. Yeah.
But as far as Emily, your standpoint as being a senior in college volleyball, first of all, is this your last season, like altogether?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know if COVID or redshirt or it's.
Nope, I didn't get those.
Okay. So, that must be shifting out, because I got them when I played football at BH.
Yes.
So I medical redshirt, COVID year. One of my teammates went for college for 7 years, and
They call those guys doctors at the end, don't they? joke.
You know, that would be
Tommy
the
boy. That's a Tommy
Yep.
boy joke. Right
Most
there.
people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors. Drew Ganaway, if you ever watch this, love you, brother. But as far as what you want to do post-volleyball, I know it's probably the last thing you want to think about right now going into your last season, but as far as what the experience has been, what do you want it to be, and what's really next for you and after your college career?
Yeah, for the experience, I think for my senior year, I just want to like soak in every single moment that I have left and truly just like go out with like joy for the sport and love for the sport. And then after I graduate, I want to go to a grad program and become an occupational therapist. So.
Oh. See, they do go to school for 7 years to
Yeah.
become
Yes.
doctors.
Yeah, well, she's going to be the smart one. She's got to fix me when I'm all jacked up, so it'll be nice. I'll have a in.
You and I both. This is why I talk for a living, because I'm too stupid to be a doctor and a lawyer, and I'm too crippled to do a blue-collar job. So, but as far as we start to wrap up this episode and get you guys to do more important things with your life, again, first game coming up next Thursday in Chadron versus Augustana, Northern Sun Conference team. As far as what you want to see from your team with their first time going out on the court, what's your expectations? And, again, from a player and coach standpoint, I guess, yeah, what's your expectations for game one?
I want to take care of the ball and do the best we can with it. You know, sometimes Queen Kong on the other side is just Queen Kong, you know, and that just is what it is. But if we can play good volleyball, we have some standards in our gym. Hey, we want to hit the ball at this percentage. We want to block the ball at this rate. We want to pass the ball at this percentage as well, good passes, that kind of stuff. And so if we can do that, that's a win. And if we can go compete, and, you know, Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? And so that's a classic. But I think let's see what our plan is. Let's see. We're going to get punched, and we want to see if we can answer back. And I'm really, really proud of the effort they've made the last 2 weeks, week and a half, because they've really, really become thinkers of the game, right? Which is what you want. You know, I hate when I go up and ask a kid, hey, what were you thinking right there? And they say, I don't know. And these guys don't, right? Because that means they're not thinking volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
They're not thinking the game. They're not thinking strategically or tactically. And when I go ask them, there usually is a reason for what they're doing. And that's evolving, and it's wonderful to watch.
From a senior standpoint, what do you want to see in your last game of the season as a senior?
I think I'm pretty similar. I just want to go compete. It's going to be the first time that this group is together on the same side, which is a pretty cool experience. So just go compete and have fun.
That's awesome. Again, Coach Grayson DuBose for Black Hills State University Volleyball, outside hitter / opposite hitter, Emily Freeland from Black Hills State University Volleyball. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time here at the episode.
Thank you,
thank
guys.
you.
Really appreciate it.
Before we
Thank
get
you.
off, anything you guys would like to say to friends or family back home that may be watching or tuning on to this episode on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts?
No. No, I'm lost for words. That never happened. But maybe Emily has something good.
Go Yellowjackets.
Go Jackets. There we
You
go.
heard it here first. Again, Coach Grayson DuBose and Emily Freeland from Black Hills State University Volleyball. They'll be in action next Thursday in Chadron, Nebraska, when they take on Augustana. And then you're going to remind me of your first home game. I had it on the schedule. And
It's after we come back from Western Colorado. I can't remember who it is. I just know that it's 3 weeks from now.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And if you want to have the full schedule, tune in on our Facebook page at Black Hills Gold Hits at KDSJ. I want to thank our cameraman again, Paul James, for helping out on our From the Bench podcast. I'm your host, Claysen Davis. And again, you can rewatch this episode on Facebook and on YouTube on KDSJ-TV. Plus, you can download these podcast episodes and re-listen or re-watch them at any time on Spotify, Apple Music, and could be another platform coming up soon. Stay tuned to KDSJ on Facebook to find that out. I'm your host, Claysen Davis. We'll see you guys in the next episode.